Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with Pacific Nut Producer Magazine, reporting to you from the annual convention of the Almond Alliance of California. I'm here with Joe Onorato from Presidio Trade Group, one of the featured speakers today. He's had some exciting things to talk about for the almond industry. If you can imagine, with the record crops that we're experiencing, there's a lot of byproduct. We're having record amounts of supplies of byproduct, the hulls and shells. And wondering, what are we going to do with all of that, and how can we maximize, profit, revenue, stream from those byproducts? I wanted to talk with Joe today, who is, his company has been the first to export hulls into China, for the feed sector. And I wanted to talk with you about that, how we can get more of that going. Obviously we're in a trade dispute here, but what is the potential here?
Well, the Chinese market has 6 million head of dairy, just for the dairy market. So the potential there is significant compared to a sub 2 million head market here in California. We started exporting to China as an experiment with the largest dairy operator in China, China Modern Dairy, who had an interest in using U.S. and potentially Australian hulls as a feed commodity. We started in 2017 in partnership with one of the state-owned trading companies in China. We had some success. They did fermentation tests, they did feed trials. We moved several thousand tons into the market, all as a test, under the guidance of GACC, the customs authority in China. 2018, the program was shut down. But the argument for dairy in China is almost a better argument than we have here in the Valley. They have a real problem with poor quality silage, poor quality forages, so they're ending up importing a lot of things like alfalfa, like beet pulp, all things that by the time they get to China, they're in the 300 to 350 plus range. I mean, right now, with freight rates and shortages, it's even more than that. So the tolerance for price in China is a little more elastic than it is here. A dairy operator will pay $150, $160 for almond hulls now. In China, we'll sell at a port price of about $250, $260 today. And that makes sense against $400 hay and $350 beet pulp. The good thing about China and these markets in Asia, which comprise, just for dairies, about 9 million animals, there's an exponentially larger non-ruminant market, swine and poultry. And there's a good opportunity there. In the test shipments we have restarted this year, primarily going to Korea and Japan and Vietnam, the whole interest is as a replacer for beet pulp for the swine industry. Everything we're shipping is ground. And it's going to be an interesting project over the next 3 months to see the reaction. But there's definite interest in this for both ruminants and non-ruminants in these markets. They're just much bigger. There are just many more options to the west versus trying to ship almond hulls and other almond byproducts east out of California, which is, frankly, we're kind of an island here. So.
Yeah, and then so as far as what this compares to is sending, shipping this product to dairies in the valley, which they have a surplus. They can't take it all in here. But what would be the price comparison of cost, in getting it to China versus another area in the Central Valley?
Well, to shuttle this commodity around the valley by truck is, probably limits you to a $30 or $40 range. You probably can't get product from Chico to Bakersfield economically and vice versa. These products have probably a sub 100 mile range for $30 or $40. For China, because of the acceptable destination price, we can spend $100 on logistics. And we'll spend the lion's share of that now with ocean freight rates having gone up. But, it costs us about $45 to get a loaded container to the port. It costs right now another $45 to get the product to Asia. In the past, that freight rate to Asia wasn't $45, it was more like $15. So there is a potential for this product to be a real competitive feed ingredient in these destination markets. And when you add the non-ruminant factor, which for us is still a bit of an unknown, suddenly you see a market that has two tiers of demand. It has a need because of the competitive environment of other poor forages and silages. There's an opportunity here.
And then just how big of an opportunity is this? And how soon do you think, as far as the amount of holes that we can be shipping to China, as well as the time frame of when you think we can start commercially doing this?
We think for what we describe as the easy countries, which are like Korea, Japan, Vietnam, we think we can start shipping this year at commercial volumes. But the demand of those countries is much smaller than China. I mean, we have to always admit to ourselves that everything we're looking at in Asia, 70 or 75% of the demand is in China. So that's really the kind of jewel in the crown of this market. But we expect that within 5 years, within a year and a half or so, we expect to be approved in China. Mm-hmm. And I've said in the presentation here that I think it's reasonable to anticipate that within 5 years, we will be able to impact 10 to 20% of our supply market here in the U.S. So for almond hulls. So we're making progress.
Well, that's awesome, Joe. Great news for the industry. There's definitely positive responses here, and we look forward to learning more about it. Read more about these things in Pacific Net Producer Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.